When two towering figures of daytime television collide, the result can be explosive. And on this fictional morning inside the View studio, that's exactly what happened. The lights burned bright as Robin Roberts prepared for what she assumed would be an easy, upbeat guest appearance. Known for her professionalism and calm under pressure, Robin had handled everything from hurricane coverage to interviews with world leaders. But nothing could have prepared her for the on-air clash that was about to erupt. "Robin, it's wonderful having you here," Whoopi Goldberg greeted warmly as cameras rolled. Applause filled the room, and Robin settled comfortably into the familiar rhythm of friendly TV chatter. They discussed her projects, her decades-long career, and her inspiring personal journey. Everything flowed smoothly until Joy Behar shifted in her seat. "Robin, I have to ask you something," Joy began, her tone changing. "There's been talk lately about journalistic integrity. So, do morning show hosts count as real journalists, or are they entertainers?" The air thickened. Robin's smile tightened. "Well, Joy, I think journalism can be both informative and engaging." "But is that what you do? When you do celebrity segments or feel-good stories, is that journalism or performance?" The co-hosts tensed. Even backstage, crew members sensed trouble. Robin inhaled deeply. "Joy, I've covered hurricanes. I've interviewed presidents. I've reported from war zones. My work—" "Oh, please," Joy cut in with an eye roll. "Standing in a storm doesn't make you Edward R. Murrow." The jab landed hard. Robin's composure thinned. "Joy, I don't understand why you're being confrontational. I'm asking the questions viewers want. Isn't that what real journalists do?" The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Robin, a longtime correspondent and anchor, was being lectured by someone whose career began in comedy clubs. Robin's voice hardened. "There's a difference between tough questions and disrespect." Joy laughed sharply. "So questioning your qualifications is disrespect now?" The energy in the room shifted from tense to volatile. Whoopi tried to intervene, but the momentum had slipped out of her hands. Then came the spark. "Well," Joy said, leaning forward, "at least I don't pretend to be something I'm not." Robin froze. The audience froze. Even the cameras seemed to tighten their focus. "Pretend?" Robin repeated, her voice low. "Joy, I've earned everything I have. Every story, every assignment, every moment." She recounted her decades of reporting, from locker rooms to disaster zones to historic interviews, before delivering a pointed, breathtaking line. "What exactly have you done, Joy, besides crack jokes and stir controversy?" Gasps swept the studio. Joy shot to her feet. Robin rose too. The tension between them was electric. "This is my show," Joy said sharply, "and I won't tolerate this. And I won't tolerate being ambushed." With calm finality, Robin removed her mic and placed it on the table. "Where do you think you're going?" Joy demanded. "Leaving, because I respect myself too much to stay in this circus." Chaos rippled across the set as Robin walked toward the studio exit. Whoopi called after her, but Robin stopped only once, turning with a steely resolve. "Joy, what you did today wasn't journalism. It wasn't even good TV. It was just mean." Joy folded her arms. "Can't you take criticism?" "That wasn't criticism. It was character assassination." Several co-hosts urged calm. Producers waved frantically off camera. But the moment had spiraled far beyond control. Finally, at the studio door, Joy shouted, "You'll never be invited back!" Robin turned, offering a cool, measured smile. "After today, I wouldn't return if you begged me." With a soft click, the door closed, leaving the studio drowning in stunned silence.
The moment the studio door closed behind Robin Roberts, The silence inside the view set became almost unbearable. The cameras were finally cut, but the tension remained so thick it felt suffocating. Joy stood rigid behind the table, arms crossed, chin lifted in defiance, but her eyes told another story. The adrenaline was fading, and with it came the heavy realization of what she had just unleashed. Whoopi exhaled loudly and sank into her chair. "Joy, what the hell was that?" Joy's mouth opened, but nothing came out. For the first time all morning, she seemed genuinely at a loss. Sunny Hostin broke the silence next, her voice soft but firm. "You cornered her. That wasn't an interview, it was an ambush." "It wasn't an ambush," Joy insisted, though uncertainty wavered under the surface. "It was an honest discussion about journalism." Sarah Haynes shook her head. "Honest? Joy, she walked out. Robin Roberts walked out. That's not honest discussion, that's a disaster." From the control room, producers were scrambling. Phones were already buzzing. Publicists, executives, network brass. It felt like the entire building was vibrating with incoming fallout. The stage manager stepped onto the set hesitantly. Ladies, we need you back on camera for the next segment." Whoopi blinked. "After that, you want us to sit here and talk about celebrity cooking hacks?" The stage manager winced. We don't have a choice. The show has to go on." Joy muttered something under her breath, but she took her seat. The others followed reluctantly, each wearing an expression that screamed, "This is a very bad idea." On air. Damage control. When the cameras powered back up, the 4 remaining hosts tried to smile. It looked painful. Whoopi leaned forward, her voice steady but strained. "Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're going to take a moment to regroup before moving into our next topic." Joy stiffened. She knew what viewers wanted: answers, explanations, accountability. So she took the plunge. "I want to make something clear," she said, looking directly into the camera. "My intention was never to disrespect Robin Roberts." Sunny closed her eyes briefly, as if bracing for impact. "I was asking important questions, and Robin chose to interpret them as personal attacks." Sarah jumped in quickly. "I think we can all agree it was an intense moment. Emotions were high." Whoopi shot her a grateful look, but the damage had already been done. Social media was exploding. Clip after clip of the confrontation was being posted, reacted to, dissected. Robin's departure was already trending. Inside the studio, Joy pretended not to notice the crew members exchanging anxious glances. Backstage, Robin responds. Meanwhile, Robin sat in a quiet hallway, still wired with adrenaline, her phone lighting up non-stop. Her agent, network executives, friends, colleagues. But one message made her pause. It was from Whoopi. "I'm so sorry. We didn't expect that. Talk later?" Robin exhaled and typed back simply, "Of course, none of this was your doing." But even as she wrote it, the weight of the morning sat heavily in her chest. She had been in high-pressure situations before, but something about Joy's relentless questioning, the tone, the intent, had struck a deeper nerve. A producer hurried toward her. Robin, the network wants to know if you'd like to make a statement before you leave the building." Robin stood slowly, smoothing her jacket. "No, not yet. I'll speak when I'm ready." And with that she walked out, head held high, the echoes of the confrontation still ringing through the hallways of the studio. On set, the aftermath begins. Back at the table, Joy adjusted her papers, trying to maintain her usual sharp confidence, but the atmosphere had permanently changed. Sunny turned to her quietly during a commercial break. "You know this isn't going away, right?" Joy swallowed. "I didn't do anything wrong." Sunny didn't respond. She didn't need to, because everyone in the room knew the truth. Joy Behar had started a fire, and Robin Roberts walking out was only the beginning of the blaze.